All right, guys, welcome back into another NFL DFS video. My name is Polzin with 9 to 5 Sports. Going to be getting into the top value plays here for this Week 9 slate. All right, now there's not as many like solid stud value plays that we've had the last few weeks, but there are going to be some good ones, some like good GPP plays. Okay, and I want to make that clear. There are going to be more GPP plays this week instead of cash plays, although there are some stacks in which you can run out. So we'll touch on those in this video. If you guys enjoy this coverage, make sure to give a like and subscribe. That does help with the channel a lot, which helps me be able to help you guys out more. My goal is to reach 5,000 subscribers before the new year. And I think we can get there. Obviously, can only get there with your guys' help. I would appreciate that, a sub there. But I do want to touch on this as well. If you guys want to become a 9 to 5 member, get access to the NFL DFS, PGA DFS, and NBA DFS DraftKings lineup optimizer, you can. That's included in the $10 a month membership. Also included in that is going to be the cheat sheets for those sports, as well as the premium golf package. One of the best, if not the best in the industry there for you guys. It's curated data for you guys for each week's PGA tournament. So if you guys want to check it out, if not, let's just enjoy this coverage here. All right, let's get into the picks. All right, so touching on the value plays here on this Week 9 slate, it should be kind of easier to figure out. We'll start off with the quarterback position here. So if you guys watch my core plays video, you know that I like Aaron Rodgers in that matchup against Detroit. He has been a solid floor guy, okay? Eventually it's going to come around, okay? And it seems like the second half of that Buffalo Bills game, things clicked for the team, okay? It was something really I hadn't seen all year as a Packers fan, okay? So I think there could be a surge there for that offense, possibly, okay? I don't mind that play. Obviously, Geno Smith, pretty cheap. He under 6K, I would consider him a value as well. So we got Rodgers, Geno Smith so far. Taylor Heineke, data-wise, is actually popping up a decent amount. That's because he's went for 15 and 23 DK points thus far. He gets a matchup with the Minnesota Vikings, which isn't a bad matchup as well. So, given his price point, it wouldn't be shocking to see him go for 20 DK points. I will say, Marcus Mariota, you guys kind of know my thoughts on him. He has played spectacular. Even though the data hasn't exactly said it this season, he has played spectacular. And actually, he's been making me look good these last 3 weeks. I didn't even realize his QB rating was that high. He's been playing really well, okay? Good value, rushes the ball enough against the Chargers, which is a secondary, which it seems like it's either hit or miss. Either they're really good or they're very poor for a game. So maybe it's the defensive coordinator just putting out some weird game plans. So he could be someone you're looking at quarterback-wise. Justin Fields, pretty much the same play, just running the ball a little bit more. Okay, not as good of a passer. If he can just hit those wide open receivers, he's going to be a fine play in that matchup against Miami. So, we do have some pretty cheap price point plays at quarterback, okay? And there's not one that specifically stands out. Like, I'm fine with Mariota and Fields. They should have a floor given their rushing upside. Rodgers could be it wouldn't shock me if he went for 30 DK points, honestly. I do think that depends on if Christian Watson's going to be active, and I'll touch on that here in a second. But he's someone I could be looking at. And then Trevor Lawrence, probably going to be the easiest pay down play on the slate, I think. Trevor Lawrence has had his accuracy issues, okay? He makes easy throws look difficult. And he makes hard throws sometimes look easy. He's a strange quarterback, guys. If I was a Jaguars fan, I would be kind of going crazy, honestly. He is so hot and cold, and there's no rhyme or reason for it. One pass is just right on the dot, perfect arm strength and release, and then the next is what just happened? Just put it on him. He was wide open. Strange stuff there. But the thing that I like about Trevor Lawrence, obviously the matchup going against the Las Vegas Raiders, every quarterback that's went off against the Las Vegas Raiders has scored 17 or more fantasy points against them. Okay, so DK point-wise, that'd even be higher. He is someone that is averaging 17 DK points per game. Okay, so in an easy matchup, I do expect him to go for 20 DK points. I expect his receivers to have a good game as well. He is someone I'm looking at on this slate, kind of the cheapest pay down play quarterback we can go with on the slate. From there, I just want to touch on the running backs that are going to be below 6K. Stevenson, fine value. Travis Etienne, kind of a core play. I don't really get the price point of him. He should be in all your builds, and let's just put him in there for now. And then from there, where can we go? I don't mind Devin Singletary. It's annoying if you just take out James Cook last week. He had a great game. If you put that production to Devin Singletary would have a great game. Now, obviously, Nyheim Hines is there. I'm going to be interested to see how much playing time he gets. Kind of makes Devin Singletary a little bit of a stay away. This is a game in which the Jets will most likely be playing from behind. Michael Carter was a guy that got 7 targets last week. Okay, so he is someone that easily could end up with 5 catches for 50 yards and have a nice floor in the passing game. It's just what can he do in the rushing game? Can he score a touchdown as well? That's the biggest question there. He did lead the Jets in snaps at about 60% as well. Not a terrible play, but not someone I particularly love. You could find a reason to play him. Now, Tyler Algier is going to be an elite play if Cordero Patterson is out, okay? He has been kind of he's been their starter, but he's been the running back that they go to the most. Now, they have been doing a running back by committee, but he has been the head of that committee. In a matchup with the Chargers, that's a matchup that you want to be targeting. They just suck against the run. So Tyler Algier was a player last week that I told you guys, I'm like, all right, it's finally time, ready to unleash pretty much all the Falcons players. We've been waiting. They've had a bunch of difficult matchups in a row. It's been annoying. And let's take advantage of their cheap price points. And so that came through last week. And now, once again, same thing. They get all their best matchups of the year thus far this season. Let's load up on them again. So Tyler Algier does make a lot of sense. I will say Cordero Patterson, if he's active, a great price point play as well. And then I do feel the need to touch on Deion Jackson as well. The issue with him is that I would rather play Michael Carter at a little bit higher of a price point because to me, they're going to be the same plays, okay? If JT sits, that's the big question. If JT sits, then he's going to be the next in line. Nyheim Hines, traded, okay? Deion Jackson, when he was kind of the RB1 for that game and a half pretty much, saw 4 targets in the first game and then saw 10 targets, okay? So he is going to be someone that would be used in the passing game a decent amount, okay? He is someone that should have a decent floor with the passing game. I don't say we have to play him, but on a slate in which there's no real strong under 6K running back plays, where you're just paying it for Etienne, I'm fine with that. All right, so starting off, I do really like Romeo Doubs at his price point, 5.3. That's a cheap price point, especially if Allen Lazard sits. He is someone I would just be putting in a lot of builds. 7 targets last week, able to score 16.2 DK points, made that spectacular catch in the end zone. He is someone that I would like as a play. Josh Palmer is going to be healthy and active and ready to go in this one. We don't know the status of Keenan Allen just yet, so there's a possibility that Josh Palmer might actually be the receiver number 1 in this offense. He is someone that has been targeted pretty heavily. He's one of those guys that can get open early in routes, whereas, Mike Williams is one of those contested catch guys. So if you get Josh Palmer and Keenan Allen kind of working across the middle, that'd be kind of something fun. But at his current price point in the matchup, I do think Josh Palmer, especially if Keenan Allen sits, is going to be a great play for you. GPP-wise, I could see Darnell Mooney kind of breaking the slate. I mean, there's no doubting he has looked really good this season. The problem is just a lack of usage, a lack of passing attempts in this offense. If they were passing the ball even more, his usage would be even higher. Could you imagine if the Bears had to throw the ball 40 times in a game? Darnell Mooney would probably get 12 targets in the game, which he did against Washington. He's someone that could break a big play and could break a big touchdown. I don't mind him. Alec Pierce has looked really good thus far this season. Someone that could easily have a good game against the Patriots. And then really the 2 plays I want to touch on the most, just kind of given their price points. Marshall Jr., who I gave you guys as a value play last week, was able to score 12.7 DK points, which was awesome. Okay, yes, the matchup is not something you particularly love, but you love the price point. You love the playing time that he's been getting. 100 snaps 2 weeks ago, 90% of the snaps last week. I like the production there. 9 targets. I mean, that is very high. Okay, so we have seen the targets kind of get spread around now with CMC out. And, potentially Marshall is obviously a guy that they like, so it wouldn't be surprising to see him get more targets in this game. And then from there, I mentioned I would talk about Christian Watson. If he's active, obviously had that concussion, he'd be someone that I'd be looking at as well. It's pretty clear that they wanted to get the ball in his hands, and we saw that burst on that screenplay. It's he is so frustrating because the little bits that we've seen, it's so encouraging. Okay. The natural talent is just there. I don't want to say he's OBJ of the Giants because he's definitely not, his rookie year where it's just all right, it's just a matter of time until he gets on the field. Kind of how I felt about Kadarius Toney there as well. Or even Rashad Bateman. I think Rashad Bateman last year is probably the good example to go with. Where we see the talent there. We need to get a full game out of him. And I think, if he's active in this game, he probably will play about 50% of the snaps or so. He is someone that they do want to get the ball to because, we've seen it. We've seen him look good. Just needs to play a full game, needs to not get injured. So if he is active, he is someone I will be looking at 3.5. It wouldn't really take much for him. I do think he's their most talented receiver. It's just a matter of not if he can play. Okay, that's the biggest issue right now, especially if Allen Lazard is ruled out and Christian Watson is active. It makes him a much more appealing play. Obviously just a GPP flyer, not something you're going crazy with, okay? And then tight end wise, we really only have one insane value play that I want to touch on. That's going to be Brock Wright. So he is going to be expected to take over as the starting tight end for the Detroit Lions, okay? We saw in week 7 had 4 targets, been able to convert that into 9.7 DK points. He is someone on the season is playing about 40% of the snaps, whereas TJ Hawkinson was playing about 80% of the snaps. So I do think we might see a little bit of a split of that snappage. okay? But if he can get around 60 to 70% of the starting tight end, or even just the offensive snaps, that'd be intriguing. I mean, that's kind of a typical normal starting tight end snap count anyways. So if we could get that at this price point, that's appealing to me. And then because I realized I didn't touch on him, Zay Jones as well. Zay Jones played in 100% of the snaps last week. They obviously like him. They brought him in for a reason. It wouldn't be shocking to see him get one of those 10 target games in this one as well. I do expect Trevor Lawrence to be throwing the ball a decent amount. The issue is that I don't want to be on Trevor Lawrence, Travis Etienne, and then like Zay Jones. That feels like we're loading up on the Jacksonville Jaguars a little bit too much. But that's all I have for you guys for this video. If you enjoyed the coverage, please give me a like and subscribe. That does help the channel out a lot. If you guys want to become a 9-to-5 member, get access to the DraftKings NFL DFS lineup optimizer, as well as the NBA DFS DraftKings lineup optimizer, as well as the PGA DFS DraftKings lineup optimizer, as well as all the cheat sheets associated with all those sports, as well as the premium golf package. One of the best packages in golf, if not the best package. Check it out. $10 a month gets you access to all that stuff. All right, thanks for watching, guys. As always, let's keep cashing.